So we was going to use the image for the texturing, but as well, when we use image, you notice right here we have it options for blend with a color, and this has allowed us to blend our image with a specific color, and you can see how it's well applied if we want it. It does work if you want to have it green or other color overlay. We can apply with color mask and also overall color. So currently it's a preset automatic selection, so we can switch the color, which also will overlay and apply it. I don't necessarily like to use the overlay color because in some cases it may give you a very different result from what color you selected. And it's again based on some blending mode, like right here you can see start popping up some red dots even I select red and this, so it does affect kind of strange sometimes in the colors how it's interact. So in this case I like more using the color blend with our texture because it will overlay, but it's not necessarily interact. However, color blend will also blend over highlights and darkest. So if this one will interact more like overlay mode, the other ones will more have it as a layer and putting color over what you have it currently. So let's go to, just go right here. Let's go to reset our color. That's what I says example. Let's go select this one. We'll select some red example. And you notice when we overlay, okay, let's go color mask to this. And right here you can see in preview what it does. It's creating all of this color for us. It's a little bit different ways. So again, you can play around, see which one you like it. Interpolation type none. You will see some of the pixelizations. It does help if you use it at least binary. It applies some smoothness anti-aliasing to these, to interpolations. And of course, normalize and bicubical have a little bit better string, but it does a little bit, very slightly take a little bit more time process. Rotation of the image, if you want to apply your image scale left, right, if you have a single image, for example, just on a side, as we will create some spray, you will see, we can use the image rotation and just place one image maybe right here on a side of the tree, some areas. And of course, the tiling currently it says to repeat it. If we set just once, okay, right here, you'll see how it's cut in, for example, just apply to this area on a Y, because Y, we're increasing this growing and X wrapping around. So in this case, X will apply properly, but Y will just go cut off. So for our case, we want to repeat it. And let's set repeated as well on a X. Notice we have also mirror, and mirror actually work very well if your texture is not tiling. Then it will try to go and mirror up, and your stick areas where the textures is coming together, repeating, they will look a little bit smoother. So in case if you don't have a tiling texture or a seamless texture, you can always go ahead and switch to the mirror, and it will create a little bit better look. But again, remember what tiling you set, what you set image scale, because as long as we're using another image for the bump or normals, we want to repeat those so we can match some of these areas. So let me go back and reset to repeat it. Okay, next we'll go to the bump. And notice right here we have it, nothing applied to us. We also have a displacement materials and other ones. The difference is between displacement will have a different change in shape on a side. Bumpmap, it's only change on the lights, highlights, reflection. So it does not change actually geometry of the object on the bump maps. It just change visualizations or light, highlights and lights, how it's changing. Displacement will change some geometry. If you want to look more realistic, we want to use the displacement and we want to use it some normal maps for this, so it will create prop. However, it will take a little bit longer time to render, and you may run in some problems with different applications, depend what kind of normal maps they're using and positioning. So let's do this way. As a test, we'll go to let's preload it, and we'll just select maybe one of these. And you notice how it is changing right here, a little bit preview. So let's go just example. We'll go very crazy. So we'll put a 10. And bump map will quite a bit right in preview. You can see on the bottom. You see how grain up here. Again, notice the edge. Edge is still be around. So because it does not modify the shape, it just only modify the highlights and shadows, highlights, how it work for us. Okay, so this is will apply that. And sometimes you can use any bump production, but remember, if it's a procedural, you will have a little bit problem with this, because when we start exporting, it will function inside. So if you're planning to take your plans and export them to like Maya or other applications, you want to avoid using any procedural or function, in this case, purely function driven texture. However, we do want to use some function as apply image. So in this case, we'll go to edit this function. And right here we have our function editor. Let's drag, readjust this a little bit. And you notice right here, our bump map is going to multiply in grainy fractal. So I'm going to just remove all of this from a bump map, and we'll go to create texture map, project map. So we'll create a new one. And in this project, if you notice right here, we have it on our alpha, we have some project map. So we'll do same, we'll create one of these, okay? And we want to go and preloaded image to this. So one of those bump map we created. So let's go ahead, open, and we'll go to navigate folder where we have it. And right here, notice I have a tree bark bump. So this is what I want to use it for this. I'll go ahead, click open. Notice right here, my scale, it's set automatic, but scale it is 1, 1. And if you remember, as the color scale, we have it 1, 2. So I want to match this. So in this case, my bump map will matching my tree, all of this darker and brighter. So it will apply correct this way. Okay, we don't use it any origin, offset, rotation, interpolation. So let's go ahead for the bump. I want a bilinear at least to do. In some cases, depend how your bump map is applied. You want invert or extrude, depend what you want it. In this case, darker will be deeper and white a little bit up. So in this apply with my image. So I don't want to invert this image. And tiling, I'll repeat it on both, same what we have here. Line mapping, so they all look properly to me. Next, I actually want to take my bump map and I want to connect to my project. So, and you can see how strong and instantly it starts applying. And the reason is why it apply, because we have it 10. So let's go ahead to modify to 1 right now. And it's come up more accurate. Look right here, like for example, on this image, we can see how the textures in an area where it's eroded, applied kind of stronger and nice move on top. So we apply very nice texturing right now to our bump map. So next, let's work a little bit with displacement.